Hey y'all, Shonda here, bringing you another episode of the Healing Lifestyle Podcast. Again, I am your host, Shonda Domingo Brown. I'm an ancestral medium and movement healer. And on this podcast, I bring to you everything healing as a lifestyle from motherhood, fitness, food, work life balance, all the things healing and all the things healing journey. So come with me. All right, y'all. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about some signs that is showing you that you are undergoing a healing and spiritual journey and how all of those things start to manifest physically. So, for me as a healer, when I work with people, it's all about connecting you to what is happening for you spiritually and how and why it is manifesting for you physically in the way that it is, whether it is generational trauma, whether it is something that's coming out as a spiritual wound from what you've done, what you've experienced. And I've had a lot of clients just within this past week. Everyone has been experiencing these energies of basically not having energy, either feeling really, really angry, not wanting to be bothered with people. They've been having these aches in their womb. They've been having knee aches. Some people have been feeling nauseous, but they're not really throwing up. They're like, what is happening? What is happening? And so I wanted to make an episode just for anyone who is on their spiritual journey, you're starting your spiritual journey, and you are experiencing these emotions or even these physical limitations that feel like they've just come out of nowhere. So hey, girl, hey, welcome to your healing. um, so when we start healing, right? And when I say when we start healing, I'm not just talking about when you start healing and you're connecting to your ancestors, when you start healing and you're taking your healing baths and you're laying with your crystals and you're doing your movement. Those are the tools that we use to help heal negative energy and stagnancy out of our bodies and our spirits. We also have to be connected to what is actually coming out. What are we actually even healing? What is the actual spiritual wound, right? And so the wounds are things that are our beliefs around scarcity, our beliefs around lack. Are we having enough of what we want? Will we ever have enough of what we want? Things don't always work out for me, right? You don't have faith, you don't have hope, you have low self-esteem, you don't think you have the power to be everything that you were created to be. You don't believe in your bigness. You think dreaming is just a dream, but they're not actually things that can happen for you. You don't think that you have intuition. You aren't a great communicator. Those behaviors are help us identify our wounds. And when we start identifying our wounds, we start to go deeper to how they got there. For a lot of us, you might think, oh, it got there through this friendship, or it got there through, through this job. And it's like, yeah, and it's not that it just got there through those situations. Those situations triggered what was already in your body. They triggered what was already going on with you energetically and spiritually. And a lot of them, when we trace it back, it goes all the way back to things that, yes, I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's real. Things that happened to us as a child. And if we go even a little bit deeper, my belief is that we chose our lives. We chose different things to happen for us when we got down here to earth because we already had wounds from this life that needed to happen, but even past lives that need healing. And the whole goal is to experience a certain level of anxiety and a certain level of pain and a certain level of low vibrational relationships and experiences so that we can actually go do the work to heal, so that it wakes us up to realize something isn't right here. How I'm moving, I keep attracting these same situations. I keep attracting these same type of people. I can't never seem to get my money back on track. Like, what is happening? The goal is for those things to get us to a place where we stop and go, what is happening? And the goal is that once we get to the what is happening, we can actually get to the healing. All right. So once you get to the healing, I hope that makes sense, y'all. Once you get to the healing, all right, that's when we go, okay, I have issues around scarcity. I have issues around being intimidated by people. I have self esteem issues and they make me behave this way, right? That's when you go grab the crystal. That's when you go connect to your ancestors. That's when you go grab the herbs. That's when you go get your tools once you know what that thing is. Now, once you get your tools and you start doing your healing, anything that we heal spiritually has to come out physically. So when you heal it spiritually, you feel better energetically, you feel lighter. And yes, that thing has been healed spiritually and energetically, but it still has to come out of your physical body. And so for some people that looks different. For some people it looks like you might start having irregular menstrual cycles. Your body is shedding it through blood, especially if you have a lot of sacral chakra issues, a lot of issues around creativity, emotional stability. Even if you have things like what is it? Thank you, Spirit. If you have things like if you're bipolar or you have personality disorders, like yes, that is in the mind, and there is some crown and third eye stuff, but it's connected to the sacral too. Our chakras don't really operate independently of each other. The wounds are all integrated, they're all connected, and the flow of one impacts the flow of the others. So it may look like, irregular menstruals. It may manifest, your wounds may have manifested as cysts. And as you start to heal, now your body is actually shedding those cysts. It's getting rid of the tissue because now that you're healing it, your body doesn't have to store the trauma. It doesn't have to store the experience. It doesn't have to store the survive or flight or flight response, right? You're giving your body the permission to expel it. You're giving your body the permission to get lighter, to feel freer. You might start one day, you might wake up and your eyes are red. And it's literally your third eye and your throat chakra pushing out all the healing that you've done. It's clearing everything up. It just don't look like it. For you, it might start looking like, I've experienced it. I know other people who have experienced it. You feel like you got to throw up, but nothing is coming out. That's what we call you're spiritually throwing it all up. It's literally you're spiritually and physically getting all of that muck, all that stagnancy, all that negative energy that you've been healing. Now it's your body is like, oh, we can push this out. Okay, have your head. And it's releasing it. It's not fun, but your body is letting it go. Your body is pushing it out, right? So it might look like you just don't want to be bothered. Your body needs time to integrate with your spirit. You might feel exhausted and tired. Your body needs time to integrate all the healing that you're doing. So you're not going crazy. Things that you heal spiritually, energetically, it has to come out physically. And sometimes that might even look like you just have to, when you're doing a lot of healing work on yourself, you just start spitting a lot. You're like, why am I spitting, Lord? And it's like, I drink a lot of water. I don't know what's going on. You start spitting a lot. As all of that excess, negative energy and stagnancy, your body is like, oh my God, I don't have to hold on to this. Oh my God, we can let this go. Well, shit, let's go ahead and let it go then. And your body, depending on what chakra, is getting that release, is getting that expel, right? That's how your body is letting it go. Now, there's the other side of it when you are healing, where your body will start sending you messages to let you know the wounds that need your attention. And so for you, this might look like you got migraines that just won't go away. It might look like your throat keeps getting sore. This is especially if you know you're not necessarily, this can happen when you're doing healing work or not on yourself, but this is especially when you're just finding yourself being super duper busy and you're getting caught up into the hustle and bustle of life. Your body will start sending you signs to let you know what you're holding on to and what needs your attention so you can slow down and give it some release so you can slow down and you can shift your energy into ease and into steadiness so that you don't feel like you gotta grind, work. That's actually survival mode. Ain't nothing cute about that. I trust me, I know. Your body is just in survival mode. It's just in survival mode, and the aches and the pains are your body's way of going, hey, and it's trying to get your attention to let you know what wounds are being triggered by you moving like that. There's this really awesome book that I love. I feel like this book has changed my life. She actually wrote two books. It's by Louise. I'll put the link to the book in the show notes. But the first book that I read by her is called "You Can Heal Your Life." Listen, Linda, that book right there. It's one of those books. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. It's one of those books where you're like, I would read this book again. Like I know I'm going to be reading that book multiple times throughout my entire life because I know that book is going to hit differently every single time I read it. Okay, and she breaks it down. Like I think for her, for me, reading her book, it just made everything I was doing with my healing so far just click. And she really brings in that mental component, but I love it because she talks a lot about what happens in the body and how what happens in the body and what's going on in the mind is connected and how that impacts us spiritually and energetically. It's so good. So I definitely there's an audio book and there's a physical book. So no matter how you like to get your information, you got options. Okay. She also has a book that's kind of like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a compliment so you can heal your life. I call it, this is like your spiritual, physical encyclopedia. It's called Heal Your Body. And she literally breaks down every single thing that could be going on with your body from a sore throat all the way to cancer. And she explains that how all of these things are literally everything that we are experiencing from cancer, from aches and pains, from our cysts, from our fibroids, from our migraines. They are literally all spiritual manifestations that are coming up physically, are physical manifestations of what's going on with us spiritually. And so her book literally is an outline of telling you this is what this is what's happening for you spiritually because of this physical ailment. And then she gives you the new narrative that you can kind of start to plug in, or rather, an affirmation, right? That you can start to plug in to your mind. And that's been game changer for me because I can look at that, take that, and pair it with what I'm already teaching people about what movement to pair with what's going on with them physically and spiritually to move it out. So it is game changer. I highly recommend, even if you just keep it in your pocket for when something crazy starts going on with you, you can look it up and at least narrow it down to what your wound is. You can at least narrow it down to what spiritual wound is trying to get your attention, and then choose your tool of what needs to be healed. And so, just a few examples that I want to share with you guys that have been super common, that's been coming up with myself, or that's been coming up in a lot of my client sessions. I've seen that some of us kind of have these bigger themes, same physical manifestations coming up. And especially because when we're at the beginning of that healing journey, you start uncovering. We were talking about this in class last week. You start uncovering a lot of things that you may not want that you may not want to face, or that may even be hard to face. And you might have to face the fact that in some circumstances, you don't get to play victim, that your behavior led to that toxic friendship. Your behavior led to you being used. Your behavior, you had a part in every situation that you attracted into your life. And a part of healing isn't just sitting with the things that have been done to you. The other part of healing is sitting and accepting your part in it all too. And knowing that you messed up too. You got to take responsibility for that too. And that's some of the part that people don't want to face, but it's real. That's the stuff that they call, which you hear some people might call shadow work. Not just your limiting beliefs, but how your limiting beliefs has been impacting how you move, how your limiting beliefs is attached to your toxic behaviors. And that needs healing too. There's lessons in that too, that we all need to take note of, and we get to heal and we get to change and we get to move forward. But you don't get to do it by being in denial, and you don't get to do it by playing victim. All of these things start to come up when you're at that. I call it, I've been taught that it's called the detoxing part of your healing journey. You're detoxing everything. You're detoxing and identifying your toxic behaviors, the behaviors that people have, the things that people have done to you, your relationships from your parents all the way down to your friend in kindergarten. What that whole thing meant, the lessons that you were supposed to learn. And as you're healing and uncovering and identifying all of that, and you're pushing it all out, it comes out physically too. Sometimes it might even feel like the flu. You sick and you don't even know where this thing came from. And if you healing you and your kids, they gonna get sick too. When I'm doing a lot of healing work on the boys, a lot of their wounds are in their heart chakras. And so even when they were babies, they came here with respiratory issues. And as I started learning about healing and learning that journey, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, now we know what to do, right? We got to heal the heart chakra. We got to do a lot of healing work. So I did a lot of crystal healing work on them. I'm still doing it and working with a lot of respiratory heart chakra herbs. And when it started coming out of them, when it started manifesting physically and releasing, they might have went like 2 weeks where all they did was just cough. He just coughed and coughed and coughed. And I had to call my teacher because I was like, Lord, what am I doing? And she was like, no, it's all coming out. All of that negative energy, that stagnancy, all the stuff that's in their wounds, because we come here with wounds too. It's all coming out. My boys are 4, and it's all coming out. It's all coming out. It's all coming out. And so I share that with you so that you know, like, you're not, when you're on your healing journey and you're doing this work, it's just been coming up so much with clients that I have who are really going deeper into their work, like they're really starting to scratch the surface and they're in these really deep parts of their healing journeys. And they're like, oh my gosh, what is going on in my body? This is what's going on in your body. It's coming out. It's coming out. It's, yes, you still journaling, absolutely. Laying with your crystals, 100%. And it still has to come out of your body. It still has to come out of your body. So you might start coughing. That's one thing. And the coughing, and it's connected to the heart chakra. That's all about compassion and patience, thinking about what needs to really come out. There's a lack there. If you are undergoing any type of womb issues, whether it's irregular menstruals, it's cysts, it's fibroids, there's a lot of pent up anger, a lot of pent up fear, a lot of things that you have gotten really good on holding on, and that's why they're manifesting into these big balls of tissue that's now latching on to your body. That's how deep seated it is. That's also the belief with cancer. There's a lot of deep, 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 deep seated anger and pain that has not been addressed, that hasn't been communicated, and now it is manifesting. There is a spiritual connection to everything that we are experiencing physically. When you are having knee issues or knee pains, where are you not being flexible in your life? What are you trying to control? What are you doing too much of? So now your knees are sending you a message to ask you to slow down, to ask you to find another way, to ask you to look at the solutions, to ask you to let go of control. Lower back issues, you might be fear. There's a fear there, a fear of change. Fear is big with our root and our sacral chakras. There's a fear of change, that lower back chakra. I'm sorry, excuse me, y'all. Lower back pain is asking you to face something. It's asking you to see something. There's some fear there. When you have your migraines, what are you trying to control? What do you need to let go of to where now you want to be so much in control? You want to think for yourself. You don't want to let people in. You don't want help. You don't want solutions. You don't even want to surrender it to a higher being. And now you're exhausted and you're overthinking. all of that energy, that stagnancy, that buildup, it manifests as migraines. Sore throats. What are you not communicating? What are you over communicating? There's an imbalance happening, and your throat is asking you to slow down, to observe how you're expressing yourself, to observe how you're communicating. Sometimes it's not even with other people, sometimes it's with ourselves. So take a moment. You can take this moment too. Take a moment and really think about what has been going on with your body in the past day, in the past couple of days. What aches have been coming out of nowhere that you may have never even experienced in your life, or what aches have been there for years that you started ignoring? Because our bodies are sending us messages, especially if you are on your healing journey. Slow down, slow down, slow down so you can really start to think about what's going on with your body. Our bodies are sending us messages. I always say your body will never lie to you. Your body is your homie and your body is your bestie. And there's a relationship that I think a lot of times we think, well, I'm the leader. My body gonna do what I tell it to do. No, because when your body needs rest, it will fool around and it will sit you on your booty. Okay? So please know that when you are undergoing your healing journey and you are at the beginning of your healing journey, healing isn't easy. It's not easy. If it was, we all be out here getting our whole life. Healing requires you to face some deep things about yourself, some dark things about yourself. Healing is going to require you to slow down. Healing can sometimes feel like a depression. It can feel heavy. It can feel heavy. But I promise you, if you stick consistently to your healing and you stay on your journey, on the other side of you staying consistent is ease. On the other side of you staying consistent is clarity. On the other side of you staying consistent is empowerment. On the other side of you staying consistent is joy. On the other side of you staying consistent is clarity. On the other side of you staying consistent is a respect and a love for yourself that you have never known before. I don't care how many times you get your nails done right now, it's a different kind of love and it hits differently. Okay? So if you're experiencing these things, just know it's a part of the journey. The whole journey does not always feel like ponies, rainbows, and unicorns, but you do get through that part of the journey. It's just a part of the journey. And as you heal, when you still have to face yourself, because you still will, more things will still be uncovered to you. The spirit isn't going to give you what you can't handle to know and to heal and unearth about yourself. The more that those things come up, the easier they'll be to face because you'll be at a much more place of being at peace with yourself. You'll be a little bit more tapped into the energy of acceptance, and so it'll be like a routine checkup when you gotta go face something. You're like, oh, ooh, okay, okay. And you'll get to work and you'll move accordingly. You won't marinate in the what I call you won't marinate in the sorrows and the low energy of facing yourself and uncovering some things about yourself and some hard truths about yourself that you don't want to hear and that you may not want to accept, but you also know it's necessary too if you want to move forward and you want to feel better and you want to feel free. So keep going, y'all. I know this was like a heavy one, but it's still things that people need to know. And I'm not going to sugarcoat what healing is. It's real. But there is a ease and a joy and a love on the other side of it. But you still got to do the work. You still got to face yourself and you still got to keep it 100 with everything about you. The things that still need healing and the things that you've come a long way with and you feel good about. But you still got to accept what still needs work. Your compassion still might need work. Your empathy still might need work. Your idea around scarcity and lack still might need work, and it's okay. But you got to face that and you got to face why it's there. It's all a part of the journey. You can't pick and choose. based off of what makes you feel good or not. That ain't how it works. You can't cheat this. Trust me, I tried. You can't cheat it, okay? Ain't no if buts or backdoor ways around it. You'll just walk right back into the same assignment and the same lesson with a different person. So just keep going. Stay consistent. Know that you're not alone. Know that what you're experiencing isn't new to you. It might be new to you, I'm sorry, but it's not new. It's just new to you. And that's why it feels so heavy and it feels so overwhelming. But I promise you that it's possible. And I promise you that you're capable. And I promise you that you got this. So thank you so much for listening to this episode, y'all. Stay connected with me. Again, I'm always doing ancestral wellness readings where I'm connecting to your ancestors and giving you any messages, giving you any clarity, and giving you any guidance on aligning your physical wellness with your spiritual wellness. So thank y'all for listening, and I will see y'all next time.